but this will have spoilers. Now that my life is no longer spiraling out of control, we can get back to the books. Yes. This is my mini review on Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. I really wasn't into this book. I was being a hater because my friend who picked this book for a book club, he did a horrible job describing it, summarizing it, and I thought it was going to be about race and black people going through trials and tribulation because what's new? But it really wasn't. It really was just, now the first chapter gets straight to the point. This young black woman is being falsely accused of kidnapping the child that she nannies. That's the same time she meets her future boyfriend. And it unfolds the racial dynamics between her and her white employers, because she babysits for a rich family in Philly. And this is a coming of age because she's 25. She's just trying to figure out what's going on in her life. Like, she's already graduated, but she's not too sure what she wants to do, where she wants to go. And all she really wants is a stable income and a good job with benefits. That's all Mira wants. That's all she wants. Unfortunately for her, she works for low-key racist white people. Now, are they overt with it? No. Do they mean well? Yes. But you can mean well and still do harm. Now, her employer that she interacts with the most, Alex Chamberlain, think of like mommy vlogger turned author turned, entrepreneur. Like, she's really that girl. She's doing her thing, but you can tell that money has shaped her mind, her viewpoint. She's the definition of I have black friends, which is weird, and it creates a weird dynamic when you have black employees. Now, what I would say, starting in chapter 5, that's when I started liking it, because that's when I started taking notes. After Amira is falsely accused of kidnapping Baby Briar is the best character in this book, in my personal opinion. Amira's fun. She's great as well. She's like second best. But Briar, we love the babies over here. Amira turns out to be one of those babysitters where I'm staying at the job because I love the child, and I know this child is being neglected to some degree. And only I can help this child. But Amira has to look out for herself, and at some point she does eventually move on from the employer. But not before getting caught up in white mess. Literally white mess. Turns out her new boyfriend is her employer's ex-boyfriend, and Alex spent like 15 years falsely accusing this man of ruining her life in high school. All because she didn't want to acknowledge that, like, oops, I made a mistake. He didn't do what I accused him of, but I'm not woman enough, encouraged enough to acknowledge that, let alone apologize to this man. So she creates a weird dynamic between her and Amira, and between her and her ex-boyfriend, Kelly. Kelly is one of those white guys that, like, he acknowledged in the book that I grew up wanting to be black. And he surrounds himself with black people. So that in itself is always a little side-eyed as a black woman. Like, why don't you have any friends of your same race? But I digress. You can see the difference between how Amira goes through life, versus Alex. And Alex is spending so much time trying to prove to herself that she's not racist, while being just the biggest weirdo to Amira. But not on purpose. She has good intentions. She's snooping. No, she is doing it on purpose. She's snooping through this woman's phone, trying to figure out her life, instead of just getting to know her like a normal human being would. And she's trying to figure out how she can get closer to her without making it obvious she wants to be closer to her. Leave that dynamic in general. Laura, a young woman living in a secluded castle in Styria, Austria, with her father, finds herself drawn to a mysterious and beautiful stranger named Carmilla. Now, Carmilla, yes, she was a vampire. Yes, she was trying to pounce on Laura, but Laura was falling in love. I won't say love. They didn't really, what's the word I'm looking for? The author didn't really linger on if explorers falling in love, but it was definitely clear that like, oh, there's some sexual tension here. I'm a fan of Ram. I said for my first vampire read, this was a good one. The E-Myth Revisited: Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It by Michael E. Gerber, the world's #1 small business guru. Okay, excuse me. Child, this was published when I was 4 years old. Okay. So yeah, no, this is a great book. I enjoyed it. If you're looking for a self-help business book or something related to that won't bore you, I think this is a great book. The E-Myth Revisited. Now, I read that book, well, listened to it because of Ali Abdaal. If you're a fan of productivity content on social media, especially YouTube, you've heard of Ali Abdaal. And this man is always talking about the E-Myth Revisited, how it's a great business book, how it's a great self-help book. And I understand why, because as someone who's on the brim of building something, I don't know exactly what I'm building, but it's better to educate yourself and familiarize yourself with certain industries and knowledge. So I think this was a great business book because it wasn't just each chapter telling you the definition of what a business is and business acumen and all this jazz. It had a story for each chapter to break down each chapter. Well, it's one story throughout the entire book that helps break down each chapter. You're following the main character of this self-help business book as he helped guide a small business owner to realizing instead of working in your business, this is how you can work on your business. Small business owners and freelancers tend to overwork themselves, overwhelm themselves because they think they have to do everything. When as you level up with your business, you're going to have to learn to let go and allow other people to take on responsibility so you can be a better business person, a better owner, or a better founder. I would highly encourage to listen to the book if you're also going to read it. I'm just a huge fan of it. I have a very active imagination, so I enjoy reading as I listen. It's almost as if I'm there. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Dark Matter, a science fiction thriller by Blake Crouch, explores the consequences of choices in the lives we might have lived. Thriller where a physicist, Jason Desson, is abducted and thrust into an alternative version of his life, one where different choices he made 15 years prior led to a different path. Now, reading this book, I understand the hype. I really do. I really do. And I understand why they made this into a TV series. If you have Apple TV, is it Apple TV? Oh. Yes, it's Apple TV. But yeah, I understand why they made this into a series because when you read this book, the main character is quite literally jumping from one alternative reality to the next. So it's going to take a TV series to thoroughly represent this book. Now, I have yet to watch the series. I do plan on watching it, but if the series is as good as the book, I can see why that is popular as well. But if you're a fan of science fiction, if you're a fan of just, I've never noticed these are people in the background. Good cover art. Good cover art. Okay, anyway. But if you're a fan of science fiction, and if you've been on the fence about reading this book, I would highly recommend it. It was entertaining. This was my book pick for my book club. My friends and I have our own book club. And I'm very happy about it. I'm so proud. We all were entertained. I think, and it's a quick read. It's a, weekend read. I'll give it that. It's a good weekend read. I'm a fan of science fiction, thrillers, psychological thrillers, so this was right up my alley. And I'm happy I picked it, and I think you enjoy it too, if you would. Libby app. I listened to this on the Libby app as I read along. And if you've been here for a while, you understand I'm a fan of the Libby app. Think of it as your local library online in app form. So yeah, if you don't want to buy the book, just use your library card, set up an account on the Libby app, and you can listen to this book and or read it. So yeah, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Huge fan. I will be reading more from this author. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Kalila D. I'm a fan of her work. She's another content creator on YouTube, a booktuber to be exact. She talks about great books all the time. So I got this book based off her interest and her recommendation. I don't know the woman. I'm just saying I watch her stuff.